Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video we're going to be talking about whether or not you can learn the piano without learning to read music. There are a few different reasons why you might be asking this question, and most of the time it comes down to what style of music you're wanting to learn. If you're wanting to learn more popular music, then often people try to avoid reading music to do that, and they'll just do it by watching YouTube videos or by listening to the song and trying to work it out. So I'm going to quickly answer the question to this one, and that is yes, you can learn to play the piano without reading music, but before you click off, I'm just going to explain the ways that you can learn and also why you might want to consider reading music. So without reading music, there are several ways to learn the piano, and the first one is learning by ear. So all this essentially means is that you are listening to something and you are working out how to play it just by listening to it. There is nothing wrong with this methodology of learning, and if someone says differently, then they're just wrong. I learned to play initially by ear, and I think it's been the best thing for my listening skills and my general musicianship. By learning by ear, you're actually learning things that you wouldn't learn by reading, and that's things like coming up with rhythmic patterns, learning how to structure chords in particular types of songs. And it'll also just massively help your ability to improvise and also play with others, because you'll be so used to listening when you're playing that playing with other people will be very easy. But I don't think this should be the only method that you use to learn, and I do think reading should be a part of your long-term plan. The next method that you can use to learn to play the piano is learning by using music theory. Music isn't actually as complicated as it might initially seem, and you do come across a lot of the same patterns and structures in music all of the time. If you understand how chords are structured, how scales work, and also some best practices as to what you might see in music, then you're going to find that you're going to be able to work things out on the piano without listening to it and also without reading it. This is also a good way of learning because your general musicianship will be much better as well. The one thing I would not recommend for your long-term ability to play the piano is to copy other people. And by this what I mean is that you can't really learn the piano by following a video that shows you note for note how to play a particular song or piece. This is not going to help your long-term ability to play the piano. And it's the same thing if you ask someone to show you how to play something, it's just not going to work like that. You're better off working it out yourself so you know how to apply that to other songs or pieces, or by just reading the music. So why might you not want to read music? Well, one reason why you might not want to read music is because learning to read music takes a long time, and it's like learning a completely new language. You've got to instantly recognize notes, and this takes a lot of time to do. Reading music also doesn't necessarily help with your creativity. Learning by ear and learning music theory is going to help your creativity much more because you can experiment more and you can come up with your own ways of playing things. Initially, reading music might also slow down the process of learning songs or pieces because you could learn them a lot faster by copying other people, by learning music theory, or by listening to it and working it out. And this is often why you might be asking the question whether it's worth learning to read music in the first place. If you can play something a lot easier one way, then why would you bother going the hard way and learning to read music? Well, there are several reasons why you might want to learn to read music, and here are just a few of them. So the first one is that it enables you to play any piece or any song, whether you know the song or not. There is music out there for literally everything, and they can be very specific in the music about how it was in the original if you want to learn something specifically. And just the very fact that you can pick up a piece of music for a song or piece that you have never heard before and play it, that will give you a massive boost in your ability to play the piano as a whole. Learning to read music also helps you understand music at such a deeper level. You can see things on a page that you can't see by just listening to it or working it out. In the same way that when you listen to a piece of music and you work it out, you are improving your ability to improvise rhythms and things like that. When you learn to read music, you are helping your ability to read patterns, and you will be able to understand things that you will see in thousands of different pieces because music is quite repetitive. Learning to read music will also be the fastest way to learn in the long term. Yes, it might slow you down now compared to listening to it and working it out. However, in the long term, once you are really good at reading music, it will be the fastest way to learn a piece of music. It's also a very transferable skill. If you are ever interested in playing any other instruments, most instruments use a normal stave to read music, and a lot of the stuff that is in piano music is transferable to all the other instruments. For example, note lengths, key signatures, time signatures, all those types of things, once you understand them on piano, you can transfer that to another instrument, and it just becomes a technical exercise in learning how to physically play that instrument. So learning to read music is a very valuable thing. So what do I think is the best way to learn? Well, as I said, when I first started learning, I started to learn by ear before I started to have lessons and learn to read music. so I do place value in this way of learning. But overall, I think you need to have a combination of all the different types. I think you need to practice listening to songs and trying to work them out, because that will just help your creativity. You need to understand music theory because you can see how songs are structured and you can also work them out that way. But you also need to be able to read music, because reading music is where most of the learning will happen. If you have any experience with learning to read music, or you disagree with me and think that you can learn just by ear, then let me know in the comments. You are also very welcome to book a lesson with me, and you can do that using the link in the description. And before you go on to this video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.